Hello everyone. How's everybody doing today? I am a bit late getting here. We've had some technical trouble and we don't have our helper here today. So I will give you guys a moment to get on here and I will, hi Linda, how are you? Get things pulled up at my end. All right, so hopefully this is working. If you're there and you can see things, say hello or hit the like button and hopefully it will show up here at my end. Okay, I'm able to find there we go. Just got to turn the volume down. There. We are having troubles getting some things connected here and Ryan's not home to help us get it working. So Ethan's trying his best. And we will carry on with what we have. So if you're just hopping in, hi Ramona. I was just saying we've had some technical trouble getting things going and our helper is not here. He is away at the moment. So we are doing our best to get things going without him. Technology is great when it works. I'm just going to move this a little bit. And not the best when it doesn't. So I am going to actually create the card that I made for my swap. I have created this one for you guys recently, but I thought it would be fun to still show you how I did the one that I created for my swap, which I cased this one from, and that way you guys would have both versions. So I will make this one, but first we are just trying, our luggage finally showed up. And we've been able to reach Ryan. We thought maybe he had the locks with him, but it turns out I think that they're actually here. Yeah. So Ethan is just digging out the last remaining gifts that I had to show you guys. And I also have some different swaps. I realized that I had never showed you the swaps that I got from my fellow artisans from the onstage trip. So I wanted to show you guys those. So while we wait for Ethan to help get this suitcase unlocked, I'll show you the swaps, then I'll show you the gift, and then I'll show you this card. So first of all, if you are just tuning in, I'm Alana Wharf, Sleepless Stamper. I am in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And today I've got a variety of things to show you guys. So we're going to begin with these swaps here. Some of them may actually be retiring or now retired product, but I'm just taking a quick scan through them. There's a little bit of retired product in here, but they're still fabulous. So we're going to start with Mindy. Oh, I'm not going to say her last name because I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this is Mindy's card. So this is the Rays of Light background, and she did a really cool watercolor technique with this one. I know in our upcoming online sale, somebody has posted this one. Hi, Cindy and Carmen and Janet. Hi, everyone. In our online sale, one of the people that's a shopper or a vendor, she's both actually, has posted an ISO for this Rays of Light background stamp. But look at how cool that is. She's going to have a look at this card. Then we have this one here. I'm going to take these out of the package so you guys can see them a little bit better. You should be able to cut that with that, yeah. They've tied our luggage after it went missing, had to go through customs on its own. And so there is some wire wrapped through things that Ethan's trying to get off. Anyhow, this one is by Ashley Van Camp. She is on the Current Artisan team. She also used the Rays of Light here. And then I believe this bundle carried over, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the bundle. If you know what it is, please feel free to share. But that's super cute. And then we have, this one is by Elizabeth Price. She is amazing as well. I love this. This is I think it's called Loads of Fun. It's in the online exclusives. You get all of these cute little wagon parts and then different greetings and different fillers. So that is super cute. This paper is discontinued. That was, I think, from the Delightfully Eclectic. in the previous annual catalog, but look at this. I love how she just did a little bit of blending behind that greeting and a little bit of splatter. I never think to put blending on the inside, but that looks super cool. I do too, Linda. I'm not letting go of that Rays of Light background stamp. I love it too much. So the Global Design Project, Kayla Renee is their designer for this week, and it's Case the designer. So I plan on playing along with that one, and she used the Rays of Light background stamp. She's also a former Artisan design team member, but that's adorable. Next, I have a card from Chelsea Christensen. I saw her on the incentive trip, and we actually met her last year on the incentive trip as well. I love her creations. If you are into Paper Pumpkin, she has just posted a whole bunch of Paper Pumpkin alternates, and they're beautiful. All right, so this one is hers, and I love how she's colored that. I don't know if she blended or colored. It might be with the stencils, but that's gorgeous. I love this card. So pretty. Now, next is Tammy Hewlett, I want to say. And I haven't ripped the seal on this one yet, so here we go. This card is so pretty. Look at that. Gosh, I can't remember what this one is called, but that is so, so pretty. I want to make this card. I love how she blended this. That looks like blends on vellum. Gorgeous. The Paper Pumpkin alternates are by, I'll just show you her stamp, Chelsea Christensen. She has a Facebook page and I believe also Instagram, and she's got a ton of different ones on there. I just love her style. So that is really pretty. Then this one is by, does not have an envelope or a stamp. So I actually don't know which person made this one, but this is little frames made out of the perennial postage dies. Hi Sharon, how are you? Next up, we have a card by Charlotte. I love her style as well. I can never get enough of her cards. She made this one, so that looks like some blending and embossing paste with a stencil. Super cute with this one as well. And hi, Shirley. So super cute. That one is Charlotte. So that's that one. Sorry, I just have to put them back when they the label is loose so that I don't forget who made them. Next, this one is made by Danny. She is a fellow Artisan design team member this year, and she's actually in my design group. We are split into groups of four groups of 5, and she is in my group. So when the weeks come that you see my projects, you'll also see Danny's, and we actually have projects posting on Friday. So on Friday, stay tuned for our projects to post, and then I will be offering a class to you with the projects that I have designed for this week's Artisan Post. So this is Danny's, and she was so kind to gather up all my stuff and send it to me. So thank you, Danny. But I love this one. So this one is the one that has a little bit of retired product. It's the DSP, which has already retired now. So that's Danny's. Next up, I have a card by Bree Renwick. And actually, Danny and Bree and some of the other people in this stack of cards, the designers that designed these, were Artisan finalists the year that I was on the team. So Elizabeth Price was, and Bree and Danny, that might be it. So I have followed their work for a long time. So this one is Bree's, and look at that, or Breelyn. That's so pretty. Now this one I think might be from the bundle. One of these bundles from the Notes of Nature line retired with the spring catalog. And I should know which one, but I can't recall whether it's this one or the other bundle, but that's super cute. And I love how she tied those butterflies in there. If you missed yesterday's live, I showed a swap where one of the designers actually coated the brass butterfly. Hi, Paulette and Sally and Marcia. She had actually coated the brass butterfly with copper embossing powder to tie it in with the rest of her project. I thought that was super creative. I've done that with buttons and household things, but I didn't think about doing it with the butterflies. So I thought that was really cool. All right, so now I have you can let me know what you think of those cards. I think they're gorgeous. I have the last two gifts from our trip that I can show you guys that were still lost in luggage yesterday. So they returned this morning, not in time for Ryan's trip, but in time for me to show you guys. So this here, I have a few, I stashed some of my other gifts inside this box to keep them protected on the way home. So this card was left in our room for us, I think the first night, with a plate of different cheeses. So this one was really cute. And then they wrote us a note from Shelly and Sarah inside. So that's adorable. I love that card. And then this one got a little heat damaged. It was stamped nicely, but the humidity damaged that one. But this is actually not from Stampin' Up. This is from my friend Melissa. So Stamp with Melissa. She does fabulous reels and all kinds of things. You may know who she is, but she is super funny and very generous. So she made these little name tags for a bunch of us. So I was super surprised to get this from her. And then some Jelly Bellies. I did not eat mine there because I wanted to bring them home, and we'll share them here. But I thought that was really sweet of her. So I loved getting that gift. Now I need to find out how she got these done. And maybe that will be a gift that I can gift forward. On the last day, we got these stickers. So a Mexico and a Stampin' Up sticker. This one here, everybody got something, not everybody got something different, but there were 3 different ones on the Spin the Wheel, and everybody got this one. And then I had mentioned yesterday that my spool of ribbon from one of the Spin the Wheel days was missing in here because I had put it in here just to make use of space. So I got another spool of the Petunia Pop ribbon, and then this kit. So I'll move these things aside. This kit we all received the first day. We have a general session where they announce the next trip. They tell us all kinds of other information. Sorry, Ethan's trying to fix one of the technology things here, so you're going to hear the printer run for a minute. But we got this beautiful kit. It is Expressions of Kindness kit. So I'm going to pull this out of here and show you guys he's cheering because he got the printer working. We've been fighting with it for more than like the last hour to try and get it going. Anyhow, so this, you can see the completed cards here, and I'll pull the elements out to show you guys. These actually saved me. I had to assemble my swaps while we were there, and we realized that 2 of my bases were missing. So without a base, I couldn't submit my cards. And this was my card, this one here. So thankfully, I was able to cut the back off of one and mount it to the front of here. So sadly, I had to sacrifice one of these card bases and hide this beautiful watercolor print. But at least then I could take the back off of one card, glue it on the front, and then use all of these elements to finish my card. So thankfully, we got this awesome gift. So we have 4. They sure do spoil us, Linda. It's amazing what how we get treated there. It's just like you feel like royalty. So we got these bases in here. Then we have, it should have been 4, so I had to use 1. Then 4 of this one. You can see there, I'll try to get the light. We have these gold foil details in there. So 4 of those. These really pretty labels. I'll have to come up with some alternates with this one, but I think this is so pretty. These amazing envelopes, which you could even cut them up and use them as paper. Same with these ones. These are super pretty. The insides are plain on these ones, and just the outside is patterned. Sometimes the inside is patterned. Sorry you have to listen to the printer and clunking around here. So that's the envelopes, bases, labels. Then we have these really pretty, I'm gonna just take card out so you can see these. These really pretty die cuts on there. I think those are really pretty. And then these super cool laser cuts. So you could go with this side that almost looks like wood, or the gold foil side. that's a tough call because they both look so pretty. So that is one. Then there's also a block in there. And these really pretty gems. I'm gonna put these on a white background so you can see those. So you get those in there. I better just put those back in there so I don't knock them off. And then we have this stamp set. So wishing you the happiest of birthdays, just a note, and kindly deliver to. So you could stamp that on the outside of the envelope before you address it. That's really cute, actually. And then these really neat texture stamps. So that is that card kit, plus you get this nice white woven ribbon that is really pretty, and a Blackberry Bliss ink spot. So that is the, I want to say Notes of Kindness. Did I remember the name properly? I hid it under here. Expressions of Kindness. That is what kit that is called. So I need to figure out when this one, if it's already available or when it will be, but I'll have to get that information and then tell you guys all about that. Now, did that end up working for you to print?
On the computer, it shows that it printed and it never printed.
So the printer is hooked up, but it still isn't printing the actual document. So Ethan's got a challenge on his hands. All right, so one more gift. This one was our final day gift. This was, I was telling you guys yesterday that instead of a nightly pillow gift, they let us do a gifting experience where we went through stations and picked our own gift. So everybody got to pick a pattern of purse or bag, beach bag. Everybody got to pick a spirit animal. Everybody got to pick packing cubes and so on. So we didn't get gifts left in our room every night, but on the final day, they did leave us this gift here, which was amazing. It has the trip branding on this too. And then inside here, I'm sure you have seen these online. If you have not, any guesses as to what's inside? I just have to get this tab open. Let me know if you have a guess as to what's inside. This is going to make our trip memory keeping a lot easier than usual. So this one is a Memories and More album. I just got to take that silica pack out of there. So Memories and More album that is already filled. Hi, Mireille, and everyone else that has tuned in. So we got things with this branding. I showed you guys this frame here yesterday that has this in it. So they used that same branding all throughout this album and had Memories and More cards made to go inside. So I'll just show you guys the pages. Hopefully I can fit this fully. There we go. So we have all of these patterns. Now, one of the packing cubes, I believe, had this pattern. I didn't pick the yellow one. I picked ones that had these colors. I picked a striped one, and then I picked a purple one. So one of mine had these patterns on it, and then one had stripes and all the purples and pinks and a bit of yellow. So isn't this amazing? So we can go ahead and, oh, so one of mine had this pattern of stripes, one of my packing cubes. So everything is so amazingly coordinated. But we can, of course, either keep this as is or flip it or like switch it out. This is the one that two of my packing cubes are this pattern, and the middle one is this pattern. So I went with the largest and smallest in this and the medium in this. Super fun. So we have this whole entire, oh, this is too funny, whole entire album. The printer worked. Yay, everybody. So I'm just going to flip this one upside down. There we go. But this is, then we've got one blank page we can add extra stuff into. Then we have another one this style, and they had stickers made as well. So check all these out. We have 2 sheets of each, but these are amazing. So if we wish to, we can go ahead and scrapbook our trip with a ready-made scrapbook. When we got married, actually, a family friend took a bunch of photos at the ceremony, and then when she came to the reception and came through the receiving line, she actually handed us a little album that was already made with our photos from earlier in the day. She came with this album pre-done, kind of like, it wasn't pocket style, but she had a little mini album already made, took the photos that she had taken, or the film of the photos she had taken that day, raced off to a 1-hour printing, and handed us an album already made when she came through the receiving line. That was incredible. Of course, we still have it. So, and we have looked at that many times. So what a neat idea if you actually put together, of course, maybe not with Mexico, but with any of the Memories and More albums, if you were to go to a wedding and give them an album already made, I don't know. And then this one, actually, just these photos will tuck, or sleeves will tuck back in here. So this came home nice and safe. So there we go. That is my Memories and More album. You guys can let me know what you think of that. Thank you. Yeah, sure. If you want to put that there. All right. So before we get started with the card, this is what Ethan was working so hard to print for you guys. I have not formally brought this on screen yet since it started because I have been away. So for the month of May, Stampin' Up! Has a really great starter kit promotion. If you are interested in the in colors, this may be the best option for you. With the starter kit right now, so typically how it works is it costs $135 for the starter kit, and you get to choose $165 worth of product of your choice. So that remains the same. On top of that, Stampin' Up! Is going to include for free the in color ink pads, an in-color bundle of cardstock, the in-color bundle of DSP, and the in-color markers. So this runs for the entire month of May. And if this interests you at all, you can just let me know. We do have our online sale coming up. So sometimes what vendors do is so how our sale works is that whatever amount you sell, it's a tremendous amount of work for us to do it. And so it has to make business sense for me. So whatever amount people sell, let's say you became a vendor and you sold $100 worth of stuff, you would take that $100 and you would put it towards an order. If you're on my team, you order under yourself because that just makes sense. If you're a customer of mine, you would order with me. If you're a customer of one of my team members, you would order with that team member. Same goes for if you choose to use your funds to join the team. You would join with whichever one of the Sleepless Stampers community team members invited you to participate in the sale. So sometimes it works out that people can end up doing that option. So just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that this existed for this month. All right, we're ready to make a card. I will bring both of these in. So these are the two cards. You guys saw this one made a few weeks ago, and this is the one that I cased from this card with current product. I really liked how this one turned out, and I wanted to be able to make one like it for my Mexico swap card. So I will give you guys the measurements here, and we will get making this card. 1 second. Just the first one. Can one of you guys grab a quarter sheet of white for me, please? All right, so we have a 4 1/4 by 11 Pretty Peacock card base scored at 5.5. You can switch that if you don't like 10 fold. If you prefer a book fold card, then you can just switch this orientation and cut it at 5.5 by 8.5 and then score it at 4 1/4. I just like 10 fold, so that's what I went with. This layer is 3 3/4 by 5, and you can see here I just mirrored this layout from this layout. With the way this flower was oriented, it worked better to switch things around, so that's why I did that. Then I'm going to cut a piece of this paper here. This is the Perennial Lavender paper. I thought this one looked really nice, not only with the leaf stamp, so hopefully you guys can see that a little bit better with this here. I thought that these two patterns, or the stamp and the pattern, went nicely together. But this paper here was retired, but that is the reverse side of this one here. So that piece is going to be 4 1/4. Actually, this is a 4-inch wide piece, and I'm not going to cut a new piece just to get that. So I'll show you guys how I compensate for that. And then I also have a, what was Lennon grabbing that? just a quarter sheet of white that I'm going to stamp this image on. And then we are going to die cut that with this here. This is the die from the Spotlight on Nature. So I'm going to use that after I've stamped. Oh, Lennon actually already went ahead and die cut it. So I'll try to just do it on here. I did the stamping and then die cutting, but we're going to see if we can make it work. I have this little sprig from the Stippled Roses dies. I thought it went really well with that to bring in just a little bit more Pretty Peacock. I had all of this here and I liked that pop of Pretty Peacock there, but I wanted to use this greeting. So this was my way to tie in a little bit of Pretty Peacock. Then I have a perennial postage die cut that I'm going to just trim the border off of. And we have a silver foil, thank goodness for the return of silver foil, a silver foil greeting that is cut from this hybrid die and embossing folder. So this one here, and Thoughtful Moments, I want to say this one is called. That's off the top of my head, trying to remember what things are called, but you just put the die right in the folder, you lay your paper over top, and then you run that through your machine. So all in one step. So I love that. All right, those are pre-done. And then I have some ribbon that I will tie a bow along with some linen thread. Can you make sure that's handy? It might be in that drawer. All right. So we are going to just poke these out in case I end up needing a new piece. Do any of you have Spotlight on Nature yet? I will have to do a class with this set. It was funny, actually. There was another swap on the boards that was pretty much the exact same layout as my card in different colors and mirrored. I think it was mirrored to mine. Thank you. So I thought that was funny. I have a photo of it. I'll have to post it in the comments for you guys afterwards. And I love her color combo that she did as well. So first of all, we need these two pieces here. These are the ones that we are going to stamp. And then I also need to trim this one down. I believe, sorry, I forgot to tell you guys the height. I believe that is 3/4 of an inch. And I will just get that for you. I actually need the roll because I'll tie it around there. Okay, so yes, this little strip is 3/4 of an inch by 4.
Okay, empty it.
Um,
Grab a new one.
yeah, if you can grab a new one from the
You can use the rest of
whatever it's called. Now, before I get started, I wanted to show you guys when we got home from our trip, this beautiful sweatshirt was here. So it's got this nice trim on the sleeves, and it's much too hot in here now. So now I'm actually going to remove one layer. There we go. So now you're not going to see my fuzzy sweatshirt here. I just need to trim this piece down to 3/4 of an inch. The linen thread will be downstairs, and then the ribbon should be up here. There should be one that's open if you can grab that one. All right, so I'm going to trim 3/4 of an inch off here. There we go. So now we have all that we need of that. And this is only 4 inches, but again, I already had this strip and I didn't want to have to cut a new piece just to get a 3/4 inch strip. So I'm going to show you guys a tip, a paper saving tip when we get to that part there. First, I will begin with stamping. Sorry, it's like butterfingers here. I'm going to move this one there. And I just need to grab my scrap sheet for underneath here. And I'm going to stamp this. So this is the 3 3/4 by 5 piece of Lost Lagoon. I have, whoopsie, this stamp here, and I have my Lost Lagoon ink pad. So I'll stamp this up for you guys. I start with a little stamp, not a little stamp, but most of it over the edge. And then I rotate it this way. I'm sorry I don't have my stickers on. I prefer not to put them on. So I just flipped it and filled it in from the other side. Now I'm going to come at a little bit of an angle here and stamp that. Then I came in up here and went off the side. Same thing here, off the side there. Now this one fits right into there from the bottom. And I should be able to do another one right here from the side. And right there from the side. And then now I can just fill in a little bit in these empty spots here. Like that. So I'll bring that closer so you guys can see. So that's how I filled in this layer to create a background layer. Then what I also did is I put a drop of refill here, and I have a paintbrush with water in a cup, and the lid for my aqua painter is actually in there as well because I am going to use that. Now I just want to move, I have some other cards sitting here and I just want to move those because I don't want to splatter on them. Do you actually mind finding, I have a spritzer, if you don't mind getting me one with water. Actually, this is it, if you can make sure that's full. Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right, so I am going to do this first. I need to move this card out of the way. I don't want to make a mess of this, so I'm just moving this over. Now I'm going to take the little cap from my aqua painter. I should have dried it off first. Yeah, that's the one.
It is?
Yeah.
Ugh. Looks different.
And linen thread, please. Okay, so I have a cap from my aqua painter. And the paintbrush here, I'm just going to get a bit of water and pick this up here. If you have blends, you can do this with your blends as well. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't like to add more damage to the tips of them. So just a little bit of water and ink refill. And then I'm just using the cap of my aqua painter just as like a flicking mechanism so that I can get a fine spatter over my cardstock here. Just pick up a little bit more water. Sometimes it works to just take like a bone folder or something like that and knock on the paintbrush, but I was having a little bit of trouble with that. So I like to just take the cap and give that a little bit of a flick there. So now I just drop this back into my cup of water and it will rinse out that ink that's in there. So I'm gonna put this aside, but just so you can see up close, there is a fine spatter there. If these larger droplets don't settle in before I'm ready to assemble the card, then I'll just take a heat gun and heat set that. But for right now, we'll set this aside and I will do the next step of the card. All right, so this one, there we go. So now I need my markers. So I have Pretty Peacock and Mossy Meadow, and I will bring my card back in view since I'm done splattering for the moment. I'm just gonna bring that closer. So here, this image is from Spotlight on Nature, and I am going to color this just like I did with this card. When you guys saw me do this one live, I used my markers on here as well. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to begin with the Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to go with the direction of the leaves. I don't want to go against it because the tip could run into these stems more, but if I go up like this, I'm kind of going with the direction. So I'm protecting the tip of the marker as best I can. And then I'm going to color a little bit of the bottom of each of the blooms. So just being careful not to get the Mossy Meadow on the areas where I want to put the Pretty Peacock and vice versa. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock marker and I'm just kind of going from where I put the Mossy Meadow towards the tip of the flower. I haven't used Stampin' Write markers in such a long time. I did on one project recently, but it's been so long, so it's kind of nice to use these again. Hi, Michelle and Teresa. All right, so Mossy Meadow on the leaves, and then Pretty Peacock on the flowers. Now I'm gonna just close this up for a second. I might not need that again actually, but we'll see. Now I want to move this stuff over because I don't want to splatter on there. I have a Stampin' Spritzer. This has water in it. So I am just going to, look, you can see how many of these cards I made by all my stamping on there. So now I'm gonna take my Stampin' Spritzer. I don't want this to get all over everything else. So I'm trying to shield all my stuff that's over here with this piece of paper. And it's easier when I can hold this up in the air, but I want you guys to see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm just gonna aim this at that. You don't wanna stamp too much or spray too much. Now I'll put this down here. I don't wanna put it on that wet surface. And I am going to just hopefully not get my head in your way. There we go. So hopefully now this will have a slightly watercolored look. Now I just have to pick that up. So there we go. It's just got, it's a little bit more blended in there than if I were to just have colored it and not spritzed it. So I like just the little bit of character that it gives it with the spritz of water over the image. Now I just want to wipe this up so that I don't get that Mossy Meadow stem on any of my other elements. So now I'll just set this aside. There we go. All right. Has anybody tried this coloring on your stamps with markers since I last showed you guys this card here? Let me know if you've given that a try. Now you can also see with the current card, there's a little bit of splattering on there, and I don't want to skip that step. So I'm going to use my blends for this one. The tip is already, you can see it's already smushed there. So I'm gonna just go ahead with this one, but I'm going to still bring in my scrap sheet and move my cards out of the way so that they don't get that splatter. So with this, you just wanna be careful to not get, you don't wanna damage the tip of that any further than it is. There we go. So just be cautious with that. If you don't want to wreck the tips of your markers, you can always just use that paintbrush and water. Hi, Annette, how are you? So that is the little bit of splattering on there, but I like how it fills in the white space just a little bit so that the stamped image is not quite so stark. There we go. Now, I'll bring all these elements back in and we will work on assembly. So I have, just for a recap for everybody here, there's the card base, then we have the Lost Lagoon layer, so we have that. Then I have my strip of DSP, I have the little border that I'm going to put that on. I have the silver foil just because, and then I also have this little die cut element from Stippled Roses. I love this little die cut. And then I also have this die cut Spotlight on Nature element that I'm going to use. And I have the Pretty Peacock. This carried over from the spring catalog, the January to April catalog. It is the Pretty Peacock and gold metallic ribbon. I love this ribbon. But I loved the pop of it on this card and wanted to make sure that I used it on my swap card as well. And then I have a new spool of linen thread that I will use. Okay, so what I need to do here is I'm going to trim the sides off of my border. And then we're going to get this ready. I wanted this to be symmetrical. So I have almost a full little scallop or whatever you want to call that on the postage stamp there, and the same on this side. So I am going to trim this border to mimic that. Sorry, my cutter is a little screechy, and by the time I cut this is not going to be wide enough. See how it's a little narrower than my DSP, and we already know that my DSP is not wide enough for the card. It's only 4 inches wide, so this is where I'm going to show you guys this paper saving tip. And hopefully this will help you get better use out of your paper when there's an element. See, this element here it's hiding part of it. So we don't need a strip that goes the full way across. So what I did was I cut this piece about right there. And then I glued this end to here, which I will do for you guys. Now, where did I put? I hid my adhesive right behind the iPad here. So I'm going to use my Tombow glue. Now you want to just make sure this is a directional DSP. So I want to make sure that I am gluing on the proper side of this. I forgot that on a few of them when I was assembling them, so I had to very carefully peel them apart. Now, thankfully, with assembling them there in Mexico, it was very humid and it was easier to pull them apart. I think Lennon brought them. He brought me right there. You can just check if it's there. All right, so I'm gluing that side down there. And now I am going to glue this other portion to the other side. So I have my symmetrical ends. That's what matters most at this point. And you can see that doesn't go quite all the way. That's perfect because right here, I'm just going to snip between there. And now I'll just show you here. None of this is assembled, but that's okay. You can kind of see here where I'm going to go with this. I'm just separating them and there's a minor gap in the middle, but this is going to hide that. So I can still get really good use out of my DSP and not have to cut a 4 1/4 width piece because, you know, with 12 by 12, it's evenly divisible by 4. So you want to make as best a use out of your DSP as you can. So we're going to get this ready now and we will assemble the rest. What I did here is I actually distressed these 3 sides. So I'm going to leave this side smooth, and this is the wrong layer. This is not the one that I just stamped with you guys. I moved that one. This one, actually, I had an extra layer of this, and this one got all bent in travel, so I don't want to put that one on there. And this is the one with the spatter. So I am going to distress this, just the 3 sides, and then I can Tombow this down to the card front. And just like this one, opposite to this one, I am going to, this one here I glued to the right, this one I glued to the left. And that was, if you're just tuning in, that was purposeful. With the direction of the flowers on this card, because they kind of angle like this, I wanted to reverse the layout of my swap card compared to the card that I did for you guys a few weeks ago. Okay, so those are on there. Now, with some tear and tape, I am just going to attach this here. Now, if you would like a chance to win a copy of my swap card, there's no pressure to do this, but if you wish to, feel free to share this video and comment that you shared. If you don't comment that you shared, I don't know. We actually did the draws for all of the other giveaways, so I've got to update you guys on that. But there were some, on one of them, there was more shares than the number of people that commented. So I could only put the 2 people who commented that they shared into the draw. So if you'd like to share it for a chance to win, just share it and then come back and comment that you have done so. And also some videos only had 1 share. So the cards were won by default. So if you want a chance to win them, just don't forget to do that. I will do all of this week's draws on Sunday. It's just easier for me to do them all on one day. So now I'm just using this card over here as my guide as to where to place this. And I am putting this wider piece with this particular portion of the border on that side. Now I'm going to put tear and tape on the back of this one. And now I don't have the list of those winners handy, so I may have to announce them tomorrow for you guys on live. I will go live tomorrow at 7. I can tell you guys that one now because we have appointments during the day, so I won't be able to get to you at 1:30. So tomorrow will be 7. Whoopsie. And then I'm doing a live for my team at 6. So now I just want to switch this over, and I'm going to use this end as my guide for here. There we are. Now I went a little bit crooked with this one because you can see those don't, whoopsie, line up. There we go. Now that little bit that I tore there is going to be hidden behind here, so I'm not worried about that. All right, now I want to dimensional this one to the card. And sorry, I just have to dig into here. I love being able to come live for you guys. It had been so long, and I do really enjoy coming and stamping with you guys. Even if you're not here in person, I enjoy it. So I hope you guys do too. And I hope that you're inspired to put your stamps to use. All right. Okay, so that is dimensionaled, and it is overlapping the bottom maybe about a 1/2 inch, and the side it's about 1/8 of an inch in from the side. So I'm just going to place that there, get these out of the way. Now this little sprig from Stippled Roses is going to get attached with a glue dot. So I'm just putting the glue dot right in the center, and then I can use my paper piercer to just lift this up off of here. And I angled this. There's one where it has a little angle downwards. That's the one that I angled in here. And I'm just kind of putting that on the border of the circle. And then I'm going to tie a bow with this ribbon. Nope, you know what? I'm not tying a bow with this ribbon. I did not tell you the truth. I forgot what I did here. So what I'm going to do here is I actually laid this down on my original, and I just folded back and forth like this, and then down to the length of the tail of this one under here. So I'm going to trim this off. My ribbon scissors, we didn't end up getting them dropped off to get sharpened before our trip, so I still need to take them in. So I have the form of a bow here. And actually, this one's going to go this way too. So both tails fold to the back. So I'll redo that. So this one is going to go this way, and then fold that, and then this is going to fold. I am getting myself lost here. This is going to go this way. There we go. So both sides fold underneath like that. Then I'm going to take my linen thread. Sorry, I just threw things out of the way there. And it's going on the bottom. And then I'm going to tie a bow. This is where it's tricky because I only have one set of hands here, but I have enough linen thread to tie a bow, and I am tying this in a knot around the bow. I didn't want the bulk of the knot with this ribbon, so I decided to tie linen thread around it. Now I'm just scooting this over to the middle of the bow, and once I tie this knot, I'll bring it a little closer for you to see. I haven't pulled this tight yet because I want to slide this over. I want that centered. So I'm just cinching this down. So can you see that there? I've just tied the linen thread around this faux bow. And now I will, oh, I moved it too far. Tie the knot. And now I can tie a bow. So I just have to hold this down a little. And if I need to readjust the bow once I've attached this down to the card, that's fine. I can do that. I just need it secured first of all. Now I'll put this on a glue dot. I had to readjust most of my bows once I was assembling. I had to get as many tied at home so that all I had to really do was just bring everything ready to go with me. So there's a glue dot on the back of here. Now I'm just going to place this on the center here where that other glue dot is. So this is going to go down right there. And then underneath here, I don't want this corner squished down. So I'm actually going to take a little mini dimensional, and I am going to reach underneath here. And because you can see that my glue dot is tacking that down, I'm going to reach in here and I'm going to stick a dimensional right behind where that glue dot is. And now that will keep that side from caving down on my card. I just have to reach in here and get the backing off. There we go. So now that little side is still raised up instead of being tacked down. Now my bow is a little wonky, you can see. So now that it's all anchored in place, I can actually untie this and just retie myself a little bow. There we go. I find that a lot easier than trying to fight with making sure it's perfect before I have something holding it down. And then I can just come in here and trim that down. So that's that. Doesn't that bow look much better now than it did before? It's worth taking the moment to fix it up if you're not happy with it. All right, now this little foil, just because I am going to take some more dimensionals, excuse the markers all over my fingers, and we are going to put some dimensionals, mini dimensionals on here. I don't have to worry about doing any double deckers because it fully fits on here. Hi, Lynn and Roseanne. And Sabrina and Alexina. I don't know if I said that properly, but hopefully I did. There we go. So now just because is all loaded up with mini dimensionals, and then I tuck the J just right into here, right by the bow. And then I just let it go straight across from there. So it's kind of in line with the top of the DSP. So there we go. That is my Mexico swap card. I hope you guys like that and the comparison from this version to the inked and tiled version that I made while the retiring list was still in effect. So this gives you hopefully inspiration when you've learned how to do something and maybe you have more than one stamp set, or if you saw me make this one and you didn't have it, hopefully it gives you the confidence to dig in your stash and find something similar. So you can make one card more than one way. So hopefully, and then like I said, this one kind of angled that way and this flower kind of angled that way. So I just mirrored things to make it work for what I wanted it to be. But I hope you guys are inspired by that. And if you feel like sharing, come back and comment that you did. And on Sunday, I'll do a draw for this week's winners. Tomorrow, I will announce all of the winners for the week before we left. We've got all of the draw names. I just need to label the back of the card, so I didn't want to scurry and bring those on and name something incorrectly. So tomorrow at 7, I will go live and I will bring those cards live so that I can announce who the winners are and get them in the mail to you. If you would like to take advantage of my Cinco de Mayo special, it will be running all week. You can either shop online with this host code or you can contact me. A $55 purchase will qualify you for the free gift and a thank you card, Mexico themed, made by me for you. So see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining in. If you have any questions, or again, if you are in Canada and you want to participate in our online sale that begins this Friday, you can still join in. And if you're across Canada and you want to shop, you can still join the page to shop once. You can join now, and then the albums will publish on Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow.